What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to High School Never Ends, a pop punk dad podcast. I am Wingman Steve.
What is going on, Wingman Steve? I'm Chris83 for all of you guys out there, and we are back once again. High School Never Ends podcast, road to the Four Chord Music Festival, one of my favorite times of year, especially because of all of the great shows that we have lined up for you guys, including today, where we continue our discussion on everything related to Four Chord, and we have a pretty special one for you guys out there today, don't we, Steve?
I'm quite excited. We talked about this band. It wasn't all that long ago when we talked about their album Skip School Start Fights, which I like that. I wouldn't recommend to the youth out there, like being a dad, to actually skip school and start fights like now 2026, but I like the angst behind it. And we got Nick from Hit the Lights to sit down with us and chat for a little bit. Nick, what up, man?
Yeah, thanks for having me, man. It's nice to be here.
Absolutely. I hear it's a special day for that record.
It is. It's the 19th anniversary of the release of Skip School.
So here we are, you're doing tours throughout the year, celebrating the first album. This is Stick Up, Don't Make It a Murder. But now there's another birthday. I think we're going to have to start planning a little bit. Once it turns 20, it's time for that reunion tour, is it not?
Probably. I think that people will probably harass us enough that we have to do at least a couple.
I think that I'm going to be one of those people.
All right. That's all right. I accept it.
Isn't it crazy how fast? I mean, I know this is cliche to talk about, but 2008. So I guess that was a long time ago. It's just crazy. I mean, 2016 was a long time ago. You know, it's you think about it, but what's that, over a decade ago? But it's really cool that we get a chance to talk about you guys and, you know, this album, all the albums, anything related to the band today. As you know, we eventually talk through, the band, all of the touring you've been doing and your involvement in the Four Chord Music Festival. But we always like to kind of start things, closer to the beginning. And, for those people out there that most of the people probably have heard of Hit the Lights or are fans of you guys. But for those that haven't, because, hey, there's people out there that may have missed you, maybe they did, who knows? Why don't you tell them a little bit about, your band and how you got started, things like that.
Hit the Lights got started technically in 2003. It was a kind of combination of Ohio boys, all in Ohio bands that kind of toured up and down I-75. If anyone knows, if I have any Ohio people out there, I-75 has got like Toledo at the top, then like places like Lima, and there's Dayton in there, and if you go down, there's Cincinnati. So it's kind of like this little line we have of all these little cities, and everything in between there is just cornfields. So we didn't have a lot to do. We loved music, anything from Newfound Glory, Saves the Day, all the way to kind of old school Victory Records, hardcore bands, Hatebreed, and all that stuff. And the scenes that we had were actually really active because there wasn't a lot to do in Ohio. A lot, unless you were old enough to drink, and we weren't. So we would just throw shows. You would rent out VFW halls, Knights of Columbus halls, people's garages, basements, and we would just travel around. MySpace was just getting started back then too, so MySpace was such a cool way to connect with people for the first time, and you could set up little tours and stuff. So it's kind of an exciting time. And as I said, I was in some bands, the other guys were in some bands, and we had made those connections. And then when they started Hit the Lights, I kind of came in a year later and took over a guitar because they wanted to put our vocalist Colin, just make him an actual vocalist. And that's how I got started. A little down the line, we got signed, toured the world. Colin decided it wasn't for him. Took some time off, looked for a new singer, decided to go with me last minute.
You won the voice, the interview process?
I did, much to my chagrin.
It's like interviewing for a job that you should get, like we're going to hire within or we're from outside.
That's what it was. I mean, half the time looking for stuff, I certainly didn't think that I would be the vocalist. And I definitely thought we'd find someone who, was a better vocalist than I was, and someone that would fit the spot. But a lot of it is, finding out you're in a van with someone for 8 months out of the year, you want to make sure it's going to work. It's a social experiment for the most part. And we were such a tight knit group of friends at that point and stuff too. We knew that the dynamic had to be right. And I don't think we found that perfect person. And the perfect person probably doesn't exist. A lot of work goes into that.
It's you. Come on, it's me.
It worked out. We ended up getting our guitarist Kevin in once I took over too. So the rest is history. It worked out really well for us, thankfully.
When you talk about the scene in Ohio, right? So you're going up and down that I-75 corridor, and Chris is way more familiar with Ohio than me because he lives in Pittsburgh.
There all the time.
Yeah, he's
all
there.
The time.
Yeah. Do you have, like, I think about like high school, like I had a couple of friends that I was into punk music with, and I was in New York, I would go to the city and see like Phoenix TX or Sum 41 or Blink 182. Do you have to get like outside of your, I don't know if you were in a cornfield town or a city town. I don't mean to be a jerk when I say that. That's just kind of how I present it.
You're absolutely right. Yeah.
But do you have like a local group? Is it big enough to like, fill somebody's garage or a VFW hall, or does it have to be kind of that longer I-75 scene?
So we kind of had to go take the longer drives. Dayton was a big scene staple for us. And I lived in a city called Sydney, which is a little south of Lima there. So I was like 40 minutes away from Dayton. Lima is like a little over an hour away. But a lot of the big scene there is a massive hardcore scene. But all those hardcore shows stuff too were completely combined with all the pop punk and all that. It was all like kind of one big scene. So there's all kinds of different bands that'd be thrown on these like fests at Knights of Columbus Hall and stuff like that. We'd have like bands like Punchline come through. Like we'd go see Punchline because they were coming through, Dayton at the time. And then for any bigger shows that come through, we'd either have to go to Columbus or Cincinnati. And a lot of times it was Cincinnati for us just because it's a little bit closer. And we had to go to places like Bogarts and stuff too, where at the time it was super shady, very stabby area, but well worth it. But yeah, we had to make the drives to all those places, and eventually, because there was such a hunger to do that, we were able to start throwing shows in like Lima, Ohio, too, where like we get like 500 kids out to a show, So that was really cool too. Slowly building our own scene, but we were more than happy to drive, through the night just to hit up those Dayton shows and go wild.
So what were like the local, when I say local, there was this whole allure of like Long Island and New Jersey, back in those early days. Was there kind of like a scene that you were like, or a spot, geography that you were like hoping, Chris is like Pittsburgh, that you were hoping that you could like break into, like this is where, or Chicago, something like that? Was there like a place you thought Hit the Lights would fit and hit?
Well, our main goal was at first was to we wanted to sell out a show in Chicago at some point. That was like as high as we went, because we loved Chicago. We'd go there. We had a lot of friends' bands there. So like that was like as far as, we didn't even care about getting signed or anything. We're just like, we just want to sell like a VFW show in Chicago. But you brought up Jersey. Like to us, I know to me especially, Jersey was like the mecca of the scene back then with Lifetime, Saves the Day. Honestly, like every band in the world was there. So we couldn't even imagine, like, I remember the first time we rolled into Jersey and stuff, it felt like we were on like Holy Land. It was a huge deal for us. But Chicago as well too. Chicago has always been a city that's been great to us, and that was definitely one where we felt the love for the first time out of our own state.
Nice.
Yeah, Steve's from that area, so I snicker because he always has to find a way to get Jersey into the conversation.
I'm not from Jersey.
Even though we're talking about Ohio.
I'm from Long Island. I live in Philly, but I've been to Jersey for a lot of shows.
All the same stuff, all the same. But no, that's cool. I had no idea that Dayton, had that kind of scene. And I really wasn't in that area at that time. I'm more traveled in the what do you call it, Western Ohio area. Mm-hmm. Nowadays, more so. So I don't know if that's still the case, but I totally get where you're coming from. And I go all over Cincinnati. A lot of people there. Even like you said, Columbus. I'd love to know some of the places you played in Columbus too. I don't know if there's anything that sticks out to you.
I mean, back in the day, there was like Scarlet and Gray Cafe. Okay. The Basement was always one that we would play. We've done like the, I'm trying to think of any ones that might not be there. there were a bunch of like basement church shows we would play and stuff too. And it wasn't even in like necessarily Columbus, but like outside it was like Dublin and Grove City or something like that.
Dublin, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about the name a little bit. Hit the Lights. I have here that it is based off of a movie, and then I have a follow-up question to that. Actually, it's a follow-up to that we have to talk about on the show. But is it in relation to a movie? Maybe I'll just kind of throw it to you, Nick. You can answer that.
Yeah, it's actually not. That story's super boring. They were looking for a name. Omar was looking for a name and asked a friend, and someone like in the background said that they'd always thought that it was that Hit the Lights would be a cool name.
That's it.
That's it.
Where did this whole story about it's based on Gleaming the Cube? Do you know what Gleaming the Cube is, by the way?
I do.
Yeah.
You know that,
Are you a fan of that movie?
I do. I watched it maybe back in the day, but that was that was it. I was more of a fan of it was like Airborne and stuff. Or like movies. Okay. Cincinnati classic there.
So listen, here. This is really important because we have to talk about this. We did a movie bracket, based on I forget what was that based on. Steve?
It's like a March Madness kind of thing.
Yeah, but that particular bracket, was it just movies in general?
We asked AI to like make movies that somehow were related to like pop punk and music.
Okay.
And go ahead.
And I was very upset because it came down to one of the brackets. It was the semis or quarters, I don't know. But it was Gleaming the Cube versus Airborne. And I'm an Airborne fan, and I voted for Airborne. But somebody else on this show right now and another guy went the other direction and voted Airborne out, and Gleaming the Cube went forward. And I'll never forget that. And I'll never forget it. Because it's wrong.
I don't even think I saw either movie. I just wanted to piss you off.
Yeah, I'll never forget that. But
obviously,
and I don't even think you. So we're gonna watch Gleaming the Cube at some point in time and talk about it. But it's just really cool that came up and we saw that, even if it's based on nothing. But it's funny because just because that's the way you guys came up with your name, like it's probably how a lot of things happen, and that's cool. I also like how you basically, when you were talking about the beginnings of the band, you're like, yeah, we got signed and then we toured around the world or whatever you said, like however you said it. But it's like, yeah, whatever. Like we started touring, it was big, we got signed. Like to me, like that's such a big step. I mean, we ask every band that we talk to about that transition, like going from playing VFWs to touring big time. Like when did it hit you? Or I'll say you guys, but when did it, since we're talking to you specifically, when did it hit you that, hey, this is for real?
And throwing on the back of that, what made you choose Triple Crown, getting signed? Because there was a lot of record labels at that time probably coming after you. Go ahead.
There were, we were lucky enough. We talked to a whole lot of labels, and a lot of, that in itself was insane. That it was all, that we were getting so much attention at the time. We ended up going with Triple Crown solely because of the founder, Fred Feldman. He was such an amazing guy. All the bands loved him, which was a big deal to us, to see, how much love the bands that were on that label had for him. A lot of the bands that were coming up, we love, like the Receiving End of Sirens, As Tall as Lions, Brand New obviously was a big one that was on there. But so we loved the Long Island, New York, kind of like, he started out like with some hardcore elements in there, and it was just a nice expanse of bands, and we felt like there wasn't any that was kind of like us yet too, so we kind of put our mark there and be that band in there. Whereas I know a lot of other labels had bands that were kind of similar to us at the time. Fall Out Boy was blowing up, so everyone was trying to get on signing band, anyone that might sound a little like Fall Out Boy, and we were certainly, I would put us in that bracket. But it all came down to, I think, at the end, Fred Feldman, the founder of Triple Crown, and we ended up making a great decision because when Colin did leave, and we decided, I was going to sing or whatever, that's a big leap that other labels maybe wouldn't have supported. And Fred was just like, hey, didn't ask a fucking thing of us other than just go make the best record you can. And it's just a testament to how that dude runs his business and who he was as a person. And he still sends us royalty checks, dude. What a guy.
That's awesome. And
Yeah.
I hijacked Chris' question. He wanted to know what it was like when this is the second time I've done it so far.
It
today.
is in a row. Yeah.
In a row. He'll count them.
And are
Sorry,
you a
man.
you guy too?
I can't shut up, man.
To answer your question though, I think the first time it kicked in, it was right after we recorded our debut record, Stick Up. We went right on the road and didn't stop. But our first tour was Piebald and Hot Rod Circuit. And that right there was two bands that were massive to us. So it was immediately just like, holy shit, you know. And it wasn't even that big of a tour at the time, but it was, to us, it was everything because we just loved those bands. And then I think gradually over that next year, we just kept getting on these. We got like a nice buzz behind us. We were selling like a good amount of records and stuff. So we ended up going from that till the next year. We were going on tour with Newfound Glory, which was like, you know, top of the pops for us. So it happened so fast. And once you're on the road and you're just in it, you don't really think about it. You've got a job to do. And we were hustling super hard. I think we played like almost 356 shows that year.
Jesus.
We really hit it hard. So it's easy for things to pass you by and stuff too and get caught up in it. But we had a lot of great times too. And, we've been on a lot of insane lineups that I'm really proud of, and have been a lot of fun. So
Did you say 350? You know, there's not that many more days in the year. So
Yeah.
I imagine you're doing double shows in a day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We would. And like, if people wanted like us to play shows after shows and stuff, we would do it. Like, we were just down. That's just all we wanted to do. Because we knew once we get back to Ohio, there's not a lot to do. You know, we're back to losing our minds again and stuff. So like, it was really important that we were just out on the road because we were just Ohio boys that, you know, we were seeing the world for the first time. We were seeing California for the first time. You know, we were seeing New York City for the first time. And it was wild. Magical time.
Isn't that hard on you as a singer though, to do that kind of schedule?
Yes. We were younger then though, too, I would say.
Okay.
Which definitely helps.
Yeah. Sure.
The hangovers don't last for 2 days. It was magical. Like
Fair enough.
It's rough. It's rough now. Mm-hmm. So, are you guys? Is the band all still in Ohio, or did you got when did you guys get the fuck out of the hometown, so to speak, if that happened?
We are not. Omar is the only one that's holding true. He's still in Lima, Ohio. He's got a home base there with his studio and his family. Dave moved to Michigan probably 2013. I moved out around then. Back and forth, but I've been out since at least 2015. Nate was from Rochester. Nate and Kevin were both from Rochester, New York, so they weren't actually Ohio boys. Nate's in North Carolina now. Kevin's in Nashville. Our boy Rocky, who's been taking over guitar duties, he's in Jersey. So we're all over now. It's a mess. It's a pain in the ass.
Is that must make it difficult? I mean, you're not on the road 356 days nowadays, but you are pretty consistently touring this year, at least.
This year, yeah.
Does that make it? I mean, I'm sure that's got to make it difficult, right?
Yeah, it does. And I mean, it just, with this stuff, we've been doing some dates and they're all together, so it's a little easier. And thankfully, we've been able to carve out time in our schedules for everyone to do that. But you know, we'll get offers for these dates, you know, these one-offs and stuff, and we're just like, we're sorry, dude. It's just so expensive to travel and just to get us there. And there's stuff we'd love to do, but it's like, dude, we just lose money when we do it because, you know, everyone's got to be flying in and flying out and stuff. Mm-hmm. It's a new ball game for sure.
So do you categorize yourself or your band in a certain type of music?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's when people ask, pop punk is always the easiest to say, but to anyone who doesn't understand that, we just say it's pop rock, heavy pop rock. And it's just a nice blanket statement, I think, that everyone can understand.
That's fair. I mean, and the reason I ask you is because I think in the past we've talked to people and I've said without, you know, unsolicited, you know, why did you guys choose pop punk as, you know, for your band? Like what about that music, you know, made you want to go in that direction? And then the answers have been varied, where some would say, like, we don't consider ourselves pop punk. We consider ourselves something unique or something else. Or, I don't know, right? So that's why I ask. But then I guess the other part of the question is that why did you gravitate towards this music? Why did you fall in love with the sound?
Well, I think I grew up, in Ohio, skating and stuff. Had a bunch of friends that would skate, but at the time, like when I was coming up, everyone was listening to things like on, like the X radio stations, like 103.9X, and they had all those alternative stations, which was like a lot of times it's like, Pearl Jam or Alice in Chains, Nirvana, stuff like that. So I started listening to this bands, and I started listening to those kind of bands, and that's just what I thought I had to listen to while I was skating and stuff. But I was over at my grandma's, and she had MTV. I didn't have cable growing up, but my grandma did. And Blink 182 came on. They were playing, I think they played Damn It. It was like live for like X Games or something like that. And me hearing that for the first time, I was like, what the fuck is this? I just remember just like, holy shit, this is, that new sound you're looking for? Like, listen, that's exactly, it was like that zing, that lightning moment. I didn't know it was called pop punk or anything. I just called it like surfer rock because I just didn't have another name for it. I was just skate park surfer rock. So I went out and I found Dude Ranch and I bought it. I bought the CD, listened to it nonstop, opened those liner notes, and then just started like reading all the bands they thanked, and then just going and buying those records, buying the Pennywise, NoFX, MXPX. I just went down the line and just started buying records just based off those liner notes. And then I was able to really kind of pick up on, the kind of sound and stuff. And then maybe a year or two after, that's when Napster hit. And then it was game over for like finding new music and stuff. And I was into ska and, Zebra Head and all that stuff. So it was a really magical time, but I can solely blame Dude Ranch by Blink-182 for being the thing that was just like, this is my music. This is my sound. This is what I gravitate towards.
You said blame. You mean thank.
Sure. I'll blame them too.
I was kind of thinking about the pop punk universe and like the Venn diagram of like the different bands. There's kind of like the emo-ish bands, you got your like Fall Out Boys, and then Skip School Start Fights has such a, they call like the neon pop punk era, if you will, in that like mid to late 2000s. And I don't know, I feel like you guys are somewhere like right in the middle of all of it. Like you kind of fit into, and you got elements of hardcore, like it fits into everything. I don't really know if I have a question here. I just think that listening to you guys and throughout the years, all right, how about this? I'll make it a question. As you guys evolved as a band from 2003 till today, you guys still releasing music. The last EP was what, 2025?
Yeah.
So how do you feel like you're writing differently or evolving it as a band? Or is it, we're just trying to put out fun stuff?
Yeah, no, I think, so all of the guys in the band are songwriters too. And I think we all kind of, our tastes and stuff evolve, over the years and stuff. So I think that all of us kind of we all have our own idea of like, how we want to get better with our music and writing our stuff. At the same time, I do think that we have so much reverence and we're so thankful that we have people that still love this band. So for us too, I think it's a lot of fun for us to be writing something that we know other people are going to like too, as Hit the Lights. I don't think it means that we limit ourselves. We're always going to push ourselves and find a cool way to do new things. We'll keep evolving. But I do think that we've been a band long enough now where we're not worried about sounding like anyone else. We feel like we've got our little niche, we've got our little groove kind of carved out where we can enjoy that space with our fans, while at the same time maybe throwing new things here and there. But I don't think we have the pressure anymore of, this next record has to be the greatest thing we've ever done. Or like, if this record doesn't do well, we're done. It doesn't matter anymore because we're kind of in a spot where we can do what we want. And in that area, I guess where we're at now, it's a lot more pure in that aspect too. It's just going to be even more us than ever before because there's nothing influencing us other than just what we want to do.
The beauty of growing up.
Absolutely.
I think that's in a Blink lyric somewhere, right?
Oh, yeah, it's close.
Yeah, I blame them. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, Dude Ranch for a long time, I would have said that's my favorite album, period. And I know that's a bold statement because there's a lot of albums out there and a lot of people, but I don't know. It may not be my favorite Blink album anymore, but it's such a just nostalgic record. I mean, and I love that what you just shared. I love that moment when you hear something and you just have this revelation. I remember for me, not necessarily with pop punk music, but it was Lithium. When I heard Lithium by Nirvana for the first time,
Mm-hmm.
I had the same reaction, like what is this? So I love that, and I totally get it. But fast forwarding just a little bit, and I'm less talking about with this question any kind of influences on the band, but coming up when you guys did and when you started to tour heavy, were there any other bands at the time that were also on the way up that you guys got really close with, or really just kind of, I don't know, yeah, just got really close with or tight with?
Yeah, absolutely. We have so many, so many. I Am the Avalanche, Just Surrender, Valencia, who was it? Every Avenue, Set Your Goals, All Time Low.
Wow.
Yeah, man. I mean, the list goes on. Like we had a lot of bands, and it helped because there's so many fun festivals and stuff too. So like we'd be on tour with our friends, and then we'd go and meet up with them a year later, on the road somewhere, or like go to Japan with them or something like that too. We were lucky enough to do that. So yeah, I mean, there were a ton of those bands that that we genuinely just love as people and love their music, and we were lucky to kind of grow up with them in that scene as well, for sure.
I was going to make a joke about you being best friends with Hawthorne Heights because you guys are, from
We
Ohio.
are.
Okay, you are. But
So Hawthorne Heights was from Troy, Ohio. Like literally, like I lived in Troy and stuff. I would go to my first house when I moved out. We would go to the UDF right by our house there, and JT worked as a cashier there and stuff. Like we were, with those Micah, we recorded like some of the first HTL demos with Micah. Their old guitarists back in the day. Casey, rest in peace. Like all those dudes. Yeah, we like grew up with those guys. So absolutely.
So my stupid joke would have paid off then.
Yep, 100%.
I just wanted to like follow up on something that you said because we've talked to a couple of bands. I think Punchline was one of them where they talk about Japan being a real experience, and the fact that the fans over there, while there is quite the language barrier, made the U.S. rock bands just feel so welcome. I was just curious what your experience was over there.
Yes, Japan's easily one of my favorite places to go to ever. I think we've been over there 7 or 8 times now, because they really liked our music there. And someone recently, it was a couple of years ago, it said they were listening to Skip School for the first time, and they said something about like, yeah, there's some reminds me of like music from some animes I watch. And I was like, oh, I wonder if that's why we do so well in Japan. But like you said, the culture over there, everyone's so respectful, everyone's so kind. It's very English friendly as well. I spent, a weekend there by myself at a time, not knowing a whole lot of Japanese, and you'll do fine. The one thing I will say is that for a while, their whole scene was based on American bands kind of coming in, and we would play the shows, headlines like that, and then the Japanese bands would support us. And since we've been over there recently and stuff, since COVID hit and stuff, it's kind of flipped where Japanese bands are like really carrying the weight now and like have their own followings and stuff. So it's like we're all going over just supporting Japanese bands, which I think is really, really awesome to see that now. Because they've like kind of now Japanese bands are bigger than American bands. And I think that's freaking awesome. Like it was cool to see that switch where like, they're not as obsessed with American culture because they like, we got our own shit going on, which was really cool.
Do you guys, do you like the way that the scene has evolved, nowadays in the 2026s versus how, it was in the 20 teens? Like you've been through 3 different decades of this music. What do you think about the scene today?
I think just the obvious thing, like Ticketmaster can go fuck itself. I feel
That's
like
why Four Chord rocks.
absolutely. I feel like so we're not as in as we were in the past. So like when we are doing stuff, we're doing like official tours and stuff. But something we've talked about, and All American Rejects has kind of been on this train as well lately. It's just like bringing it back to doing, shows in backyards or basements or whatever, just putting the shows back in people's hands. I can see us wanting to do something like that too. I think it'd be a lot more fun. Just being able to have that connection, because that's certainly some of my favorite memories are, the shows that we would play in basements and in old churches and stuff. I don't know how much that happens anymore. I don't have kids. I'm not as plugged into what scenes are now. But I hope that it's going to kind of go back to that. Because I'm very interested in doing stuff too. I don't need to play in a venue to have a good time. And I loved having floor shows, and I would, I think Hit the Lights, we'd be very interested in, like, hey, you guys, you want to get together and have a show at someone's backyard or whatever. I think that would be a lot more fun than, having people have to pay $50 a ticket to see us.
Chris has a pool in Pittsburgh, so
I have a pool and a deck in a backyard.
You guys a punchline there. That would be fucking. All American Rejects. Didn't they go to Sheets in Pittsburgh? I mean,
Sheets. Yes.
Your house is probably more comfortable than Sheets.
Yeah, and I'll bring food in. We'll make it happen. We'll figure it out.
So we just did. Before we went over to the UK, it was not 2 years ago, but we did a show in a brewery. They brewed a Hit the Lights beer, and then they were getting ready to move out of their old brewery. So like, hey, we want to throw a show here, and like, do you want to stage and stuff? We're like, fuck that, dude. Let's just do a floor show, and it was awesome. It was so fun.
Okay. Which
that kind of
brewery
stuff,
was it?
that old, that energy and stuff, that crackle. That's the stuff that I do really love. I love being in with people. I love people taking my mic and singing and stuff. I think that's always going to be a lot more special to me than having a crowd of people, 500 feet away. That's neat too, but I definitely like to be down in it and hugging and getting sweat on people and all that.
That's
stuff.
the best thing. Like floor shows. I have not been to a floor show in a long time, and I remember Club Laga was one in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
You go upstairs and it's just this room, and I went to that floor. I forget who I think it was a local band, but the energy, the excitement, the lead singer coming out into the middle of the crowd of people, and everybody getting going crazy. It's great. So
yeah, I'll always enjoy those shows a little better. And like I said, I'm just grateful that we still get chances to do it now and then. But that there's nothing kind of like that energy.
Can you still get the Hit the Lights beer, by the way?
What was the beer?
Oh, it was a Summer Bones beer for the 10th anniversary of our Summer Bones record, and I don't know if they're making it anymore. It was like a double IPA though. It was like an 8% beer. Everyone was lit at that show, dude. Everyone, by the time we went on, everyone was nice and sloppy. Yeah, it was so much fun.
What was the brewery? Was it
Brick City Brewing?
Okay.
I think we've got some videos that should be coming out soon from that show, because they did get a lot of video footage and did like a little documentary. So I look forward to. I need to ask about that.
At the Houston Calls show, I think it was last summer, there was a Houston
My
Calls.
boys, Houston Calls are our boys too. Hell yeah.
Tom's they're fantastic. Yeah, there was a Houston Calls beer there, and I had a few and brought a couple of 4-packs home. And there's another brewery in New Jersey called Departed Souls, and they do a lot of this scenes type beers. There was a Less Than Jake beer. There's an early November beer. That one was maybe the best beer I've ever had. The early November beer. It was fantastic. I hope they bring it back.
I love that stuff. I think we'll probably get another chance to do some beers, and we'll always say yes to that too. That's so fun. It's a good time.
Do you guys like doing? I mean, I'm going to answer my own question, but do you guys like doing cover music? Do you do any covers?
Yeah, we've got some Saves the Day covers on deck. We got a Lifetime cover we do. We've done some Midtown stuff before. But yeah, we have a couple covers that like we're actually like some of our highest played songs on streaming services. But we haven't done those. We have a cover of Boston's More Than a Feeling that we did for like a Punk Goes 80s that we've never played live. We should probably do that. And then a Gin Blossoms cover that we sometimes will do live. We need to bring that one back.
That one is so fucking good. Off of what, Punko's 90s, I think it is.
Punk Goes 90s, yeah. The Hey Jealousy cover.
We did like 2 months where we talked about all those records, the classic rock, Punko's 90s, 80s, pop, all of them. And then a friend of mine, I was talking to him about Hit the Lights just the other day, and he says that you covered Elliot and you covered Further Seems Forever.
Yeah.
So it seems that you do kind of like, how do you pick the songs?
I don't know. I think we've always, so for the Punk Goes 90s and Punk Goes 80s, those are actually like both times we were like the last band to get to do it, and they pretty much had these certain songs allotted that you're allowed to do. So we would like give these ideas, like, no, we're not doing those. We have the rights to these. So both of those songs, Hey Jealousy and More Than a Feeling, were like ones we didn't want to do. So it was like a last minute thing we had to slap together. And funny enough that, you know, they ended up doing really well, which is great. But I think we just, especially for the Elliot and the Further Seems Forever one, we just thought it was a cool, fun, and reverent way to show, you know, our love for some of those cooler acts that I feel, you know, some, especially Elliot, didn't get the shine they necessarily deserve. And we were talking about doing some more of that, so we might do some deep dives and get some old, you know, tooth and nail bands or something in there in the near future. It'd be fun to do.
Dude,
yeah, cool. And I want to back this up a little bit. So More Than a Feeling, we got to halt for a second to talk about this, because, okay. So first and foremost, like, everybody knows this song. It's a great song. The guy that sings this song, and I don't know his name. I should know more about music, you know, having a podcast about it, but, very, very gifted singer. So, you know, to sing this, takes a lot of talent, and I would imagine that if you agreed, you being the singer, to sing this song, that you would be able to pull it off. I haven't listened to it. I need to go listen to it. But were you like going into this, you're like, oh my God, like, I got to sing like this guy. Like, how am I going to hit these notes? Or can you just hit those notes and you're good? Like,
I've got a pretty good range.
So you really? Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Are you classically trained, or did you self-taught, or, you know,
no, self-taught, but I did have a couple lessons with a really, really awesome vocal teacher who had done stuff with like Bono and Lady Gaga.
Oh, wow.
I had
okay.
2 lessons with him, and those kind of changed the way I sang, you know, forever. And then you're always kind of learning more about yourself and stuff, but I was definitely, I was elevated a lot by those 2 lessons for sure.
That's awesome. This is a tough song to sing. I've tried it myself in the car, and it has not turned out right. It turns out really bad. So,
yeah, super gifted guy.
No, Nick, you nailed that one. I wanted to ask you a little bit. Chris, you touched on a little bit about like the scene, the music industry or whatever these days. It seems like if you kind of look at, you guys haven't put out like a full length album in quite some time. You put out a couple of EPs, some one-offs here and there. What's your thoughts on, you know, putting together EP versus album versus just singles here and there? As, you know, again, you guys are in this kind of stage in your career where you can kind of do whatever you want, but I'm just curious what you think about that.
Yeah, like you said, we've done the singles, we've done the EPs. A lot of it was just, you know, how much time do we have? You know, what's our budget? You know, what can we realistically do? Because we've written in different ways before too. You know, we're all obviously not together and stuff. So like trying to like write and send ideas over email and stuff. And I think through the years, what we've discovered is it's just best when we're just getting in a room together. That's where our best stuff comes out. That's kind of where we excel at. And we work better with each other when it's not, you know, trying to answer an email every other day or something. So that being said, when we do that, you know, we have to carve out a certain amount of days and a certain amount of time. So an EP has always been like kind of the easier thing to do. But that being said, I am definitely sick to death of that. I'm sick to death of the single thing and rolling out one song at a time. I'm sure you guys can relate. Some of my favorite memories, you know, growing up and growing into music is buying a record, knowing maybe one song or whatever, taking it home, putting it in the CD player, reading along with the lyrics and stuff, and hearing these songs for the first time like that. And in the fashion that the artist meant it to be listened to. And I think that that's going to be, Hit the Light's next move is just a full length. And I think we'll probably lean towards maybe like, obviously it'll go out on streaming services, but I would really like to have a record fully ready to go. People, first time they hear it, they can buy it, it'll get sent. And the first time you hear it is when you're doing that, you're opening up that vinyl or that CD and getting to do that, and give people the option to do that. And I'm sure kids these days don't care about that, but I feel like someone from my generation stuff would be interested in that, because I feel like that's an experience that's lost in a lot of the newer generations, and it was just a really special thing to me, and I'd like to try to, I guess, recapture some of that magic with our next release, if possible.
It was a little strange, when Blink released their last album, like you knew almost half the songs. So it's like you want to listen to it in its entirety, but you kind of want to skip the songs that you already know because they released like 6 of them. So I feel where you're coming from. Yeah,
the magic's kind of gone with that. It's kind of what you have to do these days. But at the same time, for me, it's just like, do we have to do that? So, I think with this, we're going to really try to make it a point to, since who knows when our next record will be. If we get our record done, that's how we want to do it.
You just committed to it right here, right now. So, yeah. I mean, it's coming very soon.
It will. Regardless, it's going to happen. So
I already put the money down. I already pre-ordered the vinyl. So it's happening. It's happening. I love this conversation.
Now we just have to not die. That's all.
I always ask, every time we do interviews, I always ask that question too. And you preempted it by just talking about it. So I love that. I'm glad I'm not the only one that feels that way. It's kind of split though, Nick. Like, we talk to bands that have been around for a while. Some of them are all aboard with the single and the one at a time and love it. Think it's great for this or that. But, and look, I want to listen to music. I'll just listen to it no matter what. There's nothing we really can do. But, I think it's refreshing to go back to that again. I totally agree. And I still do that. I still listen to full albums. I recently have gotten, a record player and have started to buy vinyl records. And one of them being I Am the Avalanche. It's interesting you talked about that band. I picked up a couple of their albums. But anyway, so I love the experience. It's like none other. And you don't necessarily get that when you get one song at a time. But I get that's just, it's a different world now. It's the way things are.
Yeah. But I don't think it has to be, but it's all about convenience right now, and I understand that. But,
sure.
I don't know. Maybe we think that we're more special than we are, but I think that maybe our fans would appreciate that from us, and if we can give them that opportunity to actually have that, if give you a chance to have that opportunity and that experience again, then that'd be awesome. I'd be all for that.
Absolutely.
You seem to keep the fans in mind a lot, right? So you're doing your first album. This is a stick up, and you've done it. You had kind of an East Coast go, April or May. You're about to go to Texas like next week with Rishi and Eternal Boy, and then you're going West Coast later this year. So let's talk about that. So that's a cool thing to do, to celebrate 20 years of a record and play it in its entirety. I assume that's probably not happening at Four Chord, but what's it like playing the record front to back? I think that's what you're doing, right? You're playing it front to back.
We're switching up a little bit.
Okay.
But just keep it interesting. We felt that maybe it was kind of like a little boring to do it that way. So we've kind of like switched it up, kept it more exciting. And then we'll throw in some of our other songs in our discography here and there too. So we're not just keeping it boring and straight through,
I like it. So I've seen it both ways. I've seen bands do the entire record and kind of either bookended with other material, and I've seen bands that do exactly what you said. So that they kind of will do the full record, but I assume there's tuning and things like musician things that go into it, and they mix things up there. But what's it like to revisit an album that's 20 years old? It wasn't the first thing you guys put out, but it was the first major thing that you put out. And to play these songs, nowadays, how's it been feeling? How do you like it?
Well, I think, at least half of that record, 5 to 6 songs, like we do kind of keep, over the years, we've kept at least some of those songs in regular rotation, which is awesome, which is, great. And I'm super proud of them. But we had some of those songs, like there were like some end tracks and stuff too, that we haven't played since we, literally recorded the songs. So I thought it was going to be weird. But the reality is there's songs like Sincerely Yours that we'd never played in its entirety like that ever. And it's ended up being like one of the most fun songs to play, live, and people are all about hearing and stuff. So it's just been fun. And a lot of the songs, even though we haven't played them before, we wrote that record with the idea that we were going to be in a room with people singing together, singing along. We are all the chants and the rahs and the stuff too. So they're all pretty fun to play live, and people they already know their parts and stuff. They've been dying to hear us sing it for 20 years. So it's been awesome. It's been a blast. It's not like I didn't think it would be fun, but even some of the songs, like, I got to fucking Sincerely Yours. Ugh. And now it's like, every time we play it, it's a blast. I love it. So it's a cool experience for us too, because otherwise we've never put those on a set list. So that was cool.
Yeah, very cool. And so, speaking of touring, we would be remiss if we didn't talk a little bit about Four Chord Music Festival. So this is, obviously September, still a couple months away, coming fast though, especially for you guys that are very active nowadays with touring. Is this the first Four Chord for you guys?
So we played like the first, like at least 3 or 4 Four Chords back when it was at what was that club?
Metropole? Was it Metropole?
We definitely talked to Rishi about it like last week.
Zulu, or was it Club Zoo?
Could be Club Zoo.
I'm pretty sure we played like at least the first or second like ever. So I mean, yeah, we're alumni in that aspect. We take some breaks, and we were off the road for a while, and then we've been playing side shows for the past couple of days or past couple of years too. So this will be the first one I'd say since like maybe 2015 or 16 that we've actually been on it, which is cool. Weird to think about. Time's weird, but yeah, we're stoked. Like I said, we'll do anything for Rishi anyway. So.
He is fantastic. He's a super dude. And taking a look at, so it's a 2-day festival. I'm not sure if you guys are going to be able to get in and see the day before on Friday. Is there anybody? So, I mean, you guys just played with Boys Like Girls and Cartel, right? So I don't think that you probably need to see their sets, but is there anybody that is on this bill that you're super excited to just kind of peep and see?
I'll have to look at the list again now. I know there were a ton. But we have like 3 other festivals we're playing, and they're all scrambled in my brain now. I know I know it's going to be awesome, and we are going to be going for the Friday show, I believe.
Friday is a very, I don't know, I guess hardcore is the way to is the way to phrase it. And Saturday is a little bit more of the kind of traditional pop punk. So Saturday's got Pierce the Veil, Mayday Parade, Boys Like Girls, State Champs, Mom Jeans, Motion City Soundtrack, Cartel, Finch, Driveways, you guys, Eternal Boy, Patent Pending, Keep Flying, Don't Panic, Heading North. Just to remind you.
Yeah. I mean, I think most of those I'll be delighted to see. So it's a win-win.
I kind of have a personal question that I have to ask you. There is a song. It's not really a personal question. I'm just creating banter. Right. There's a song that stood out to me that I said to myself, how in the world has this not been the biggest single that hit the radio and that you guys play in every single set? And I don't even think it's a song that you play, but what do I have to do to hear Tell Me Where You Are at Four Chord Music Festival?
Oh, I don't know. We definitely rocked that song. We had it on the set last year, I think.
Last year? Okay.
Yeah, I think we played it for some from UK stuff. So it's possible. It's very possible.
That one is just, it's so anthemic. I'm telling you, after listening to that album, that song was just, it was glued in my brain. I'm singing it like I'm waking up at 2 a.m. and it's just stuck in my head. I don't know. I love that song. I really want to hear it.
That's awesome. That song was it was a weird little like afterthought demo I had when we were writing Skip School, and like I think it was like the last one to come together because we were looking for songs to do, and it was just a piece of a little hook I had. I think it was like just like a piece of the verse or something like that we ended up taking in, and like it became a whole song, but like it almost didn't exist at all. It was just, I didn't think it was very good. It was just something I was like, I have this. And then everyone just like, yeah, we can do that. And ended up chipping away. And Rob Freeman, the producer, came in and helped with the chorus a lot and stuff. So, but yeah, it almost didn't exist.
Dude, it's so good. Like I think of like Simple Plan's discography and Jet Lag, and again that song was pretty big, but just I don't know, just that like missing the "Tell Me Where You Are" and just how you sing that. It just I don't know, it's an earworm, dude, and that's the number one to me.
Hell yeah, I appreciate that. You're not the only one. We get that requested a lot. So,
Oh, cool.
fests are always hard to decide which songs to play, especially when you've been a band for over 20 years. It's like trying to like not play the songs you play all the time, but also people want to hear some songs and you can't not play them. Yeah, it's a blessing and a curse to have the 30-minute set time, at a fest.
Yeah.
Never say never, but is there a song or songs that you guys won't play or try and stay away from?
I mean, not ones that we like actively like hate necessarily. There's a song called Pulse people want to hear, and it's such a cheesy song. It was one of my songs too. I take full blame for how cheesy it is. But we get that a lot. And I'm just like, I don't want to, but maybe at some point, I'm big on giving people what they want.
So it's not a full mess. Like they will not play What the Dealio no matter what the circumstance. They absolutely fucking refuse. They play that album in its entirety and they still skip that one.
I mean, I think at some point it's up to them, but you got to let go. If I was ever in a place where we were just like, we thought we were too good for Body Bag or something, I just can't be that way. If people are paying to come see you and have a good time, and you have a song that's going to take them back to, a certain point in their life or whatever, like just bring a little joy, man. What's it going to hurt? That's just my take on it though.
I'm glad you like, listen, somebody connects with each and every song you guys have made at some point in time. There is somebody that is connected with those songs. So there's always going to be a fan for a song that you guys have. And that's great that you guys.
And like, what else can you, how could you, I don't know what else you need. The fact that you can release a song and people connect to it and love it and sing with their friends. And it takes them back to like, maybe a time that in their lives that's really special to them. It's like, dude, that's the coolest shit ever. I don't know what else there is,
Absolutely. Well, once again, you guys have been very active out there touring, recently and headed into the fall. I guess my last question is, any plans for 2027 already on the books or still kind of out there? Not sure exactly how that's going to look yet.
Yeah, I think our main thing is, especially coming back and touring and playing shows and stuff. It's not something we never want to be oversaturating. We don't want to like just show up and just play any show. We want to keep it special. So for instance, this 20-year stick up thing is special. And I think that people want to see that and stuff. We're not going out to try to bust our ass on the road, and get on every show and stuff. When we do things, we want it to, like I said, be special for us and for other people. So I think we probably won't be playing as much next year, but that being said, that just makes room for other things that we need to be doing, like making new music and stuff. So I feel like the way we're set up now, we can have some time to make even cooler stuff, make maybe our best record yet. And then, the next year we can do a skip school tour, or whatever. And
love that.
It's a win-win. So I think we're in a good place right now.
I was just about to map out your future and say 2027 is for recording a new album. Then 2028, you do the skip school tour, and then you mix in a bunch of those new songs. I'm not your manager or anything, but we're on the same page.
It seems pretty easy. So I think that if we just kind of stay the course and get our asses into a studio, I think we can do it. We just don't need to be lazy. That's all.
It doesn't sound like you're lazy. And I got to say, we're very excited to see you guys at Four Chord Music Festival. And just to remind the listeners out there, that is coming up September 25th and 26th in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania at FNB Stadium. And go to fourchordmusicfestival.com. You go to Friday, Saturday, both. There's like GA Plus, VIP. Rishi just gave us the whole lowdown last week. So it's going to be a blast. Chris has been in there many times. I've been there 2 times, but looking forward to my 3rd.
Hell yeah. Well, I look forward to it. We'll link up.
Absolutely.
And if we see you, when we see you live, I'm going to ask you point blank, are you a Mark or a Tom guy? And you got to answer that question. You don't have to do it right now. You can think about it.
I'm not scared. Probably a Mark guy.
Okay.
Probably a Mark.
I like that answer.
We got another Mark guy on the Mark side of things. Okay, that's fine.
Mark guy and Airborne all the way.
Well, I kind of set you up for this last thing that we always do on the show, and we call it ranking it. And I pretty much feel like you know what that means is you got to rank a couple things here.
All right.
And just kind of going with the flow of the show. You did mention that Dude Ranch, had a special place for you specifically in your life. So I want you to rank your top 3 in order, 3, 2, 1 favorite songs or best songs off of Dude Ranch. 3, 2, 1 in order. I know I'm putting you on the spot, so if you need a second, go ahead and take it.
I love Josie, A New Hope, Apple Shampoo.
Apple Shampoo's 1?
Wow.
That's hard, though. I don't know.
Dick, we're like soul brothers here. We're soul brothers. Apple Shampoo is like
a hard one. I'm just going out and just firing them off.
Favorite Blink-182 song. This is gonna be great when I sing along. Tell me where you are.
Was that your top 3? It's 2 of your 3, isn't it? Josie.
I don't remember when we were talking about Dude Ranch in particular, but Apple Shampoo is like my favorite. It's my favorite Blink-182 song, and it's in my top 3 favorite all-time songs like ever. Like absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, fantastic video too. So good.
I still think Dick Lips is better, but that's
Dick Lips is great. Love Dick Lips. Can't vouch for it. I love Voyeur. I can sing all of them.
Can't go wrong.
Dude, Nick, thank you so much for joining us and letting us reminisce about Hit the Lights, talking about current Hit the Lights, talk about Four Chord Music Festival. It was really cool to connect with you. Appreciate you coming on the show for sure.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate the talk. I enjoyed it.
Absolutely. And once again, thank you, Nick, for being on the show. Go check out Hit the Lights and join us for Four Chord Music Festival. If you don't have your tickets yet, go get those. We're not, there's no sponsorship here, but we are really big fans of that festival and really big fans of the bands that are going to be there. So please make sure you go check that out. And thank you for checking us out too at High School Never Ends. A ton of ways that you can help support the show. Go check out our shop. We have some really cool stuff on there. You can get there via our hub website, which is www.hsnepod.com. And don't forget, if you have either Spotify or iTunes, you can give us a 5-star review. You can give us a written review. Let us know what you think about the show. Make us feel good.
Yes, we would like to feel good. We got all the social medias at HSNEPod, like High School Never Ends Pod. You can join our Discord server from the website and chat about all things pop punk. You can support the show on Patreon. Shout out to our patrons, Chris P, Punkish Dad, Punkish Dad's friend, Punk Rock Mom, Jeff, Tom, Ashley, Jason, Sam, Chris W, Nick, Steve, Kelly, and Dr. Bernie. You can go to patreon.com/870pod if you want to do that. We'll be back next week with another Road to Four Chord Music Festival episode. Until then, keep on rocking your dad bods, throw up your rock hands, and blast the pop punk.
Dragon Wagon.